This is season 2, episode 3. Get your timestamp. Get it to timestamp 0 in 3, 2, 1. Play. This is the technical issues episode, chat.
It was about to happen.
One day I will cure myself of giving a shit about Steve and Nancy's relationship. It'll happen one day. I don't know why I care. The show doesn't give me anything to care about.
Well, and it's funny that you say that though, because my prediction is when this show is over, I think Steve and Nancy are back together by the end.
I think
that is my prediction.
So because I've always liked them, like they've been my favorite relationship in the show up until that moment that just happened. But it really feels like course correcting, right? Like Steve became the popular one, so that's maybe she was wrong about Jonathan.
And then Jonathan just gets nothing to do with season 4.
Well, and because they act like in season 4, and we'll get there, but they act like it's because they've grown apart. Neither of them have changed in 4 seasons. Well, Jonathan has regressed, but
yeah.
Like I said, I don't think Charlie Heaton's a very good actor outside of his scenes with Will.
I disagree. I think he's got some great stuff with Winona Ryder in season
1. Let me rephrase. I don't think he's very good outside of the scenes with his family.
That's fair. And again, I think the material is a problem.
Mm-hmm.
If you have someone with nothing to do, they can only do so much with nothing.
Well, I find it funny, and I'm going to give this to you because you're more neutral on this than I am. But those two are dating in real life, but like, I don't see any intense chemistry there. And I don't think it carries season 2 or 3 the way the show thinks it does.
3 less so, but I don't know. I like them together fine. I think they work well together, but like I don't need them to be romantically together. So and I don't disagree. Like I think Steve and Nancy are good, but
so have you ever had that where you're like invested in a TV couple that this doesn't have a lot going for it? But you're like, this chemistries make me interested.
I would need time to think of a specific example.
No, think of it on the fly, Robert. Think of it on the fly.
I've seen too many botched romances on TV, or what I often see on TV is your issue with this Nancy and Jonathan thing, which is 2 characters together because the show wants them to be together, and I don't care.
And I think that is part of it. Like, the minute you try to force those 2 together, I'm instantly going to hate it. I'm a Smallville fan. I've been here. I've been there, done that. I'm tired of it. Smallville really scarred me, Robert. I don't know if you knew this. It's interesting. Okay, this doesn't mean anything, but I'm reading it too much. But it's interesting that they put Joe Keery and Docker, I don't know how to say his name, Montgomery.
Montgomery, yeah.
Yeah, together on the credits, and Joe or Charlie. Shit, what is his real name?
Charlie Heaton.
Charlie and Natalia together on the opening credits. I think that's interesting.
Yeah, that's definitely deliberate.
They have not had their careers. I thought they would.
Yeah, it's that thing where they at least have the safety net of this show. It's not like old TV where you're stuck doing 20 episodes a year and you can't do anything else because you don't have time.
It's kind of the opposite. They have too much time.
Yeah, and they're just not getting great. And then the question will be, when the show is finally over, what does Millie Bobby Brown do next? Like, what does Charlie Heaton do next? I don't know.
Millie Bobby Brown, get ready. She will be in the next 100 Netflix originals.
That'll be your safety net. And hey, you ride your niche. Whatever's getting you paid, whatever's getting you work, no judgment.
Have fun with those AI generated scripts.
Go for it. Now, art, and it's so cool though that one of the big breakout stars from the show is David Harbour, a middle-aged dude. Because he's gotten a lot of work off of this show. Not all of it's been good, but he's been in stuff.
I mean, I like Hellboy 2019 more than you do.
I didn't hate it. I never said I hated it.
It's the second best Hellboy movie.
I can't say that. But also Black Widow. That's a movie I'm very indifferent of, but he's fun in it.
I thought he was the second best part.
I hope Thunderbolts is good because he could be really fun in that, but I don't know.
I really wanted to like that. Is giving me a cavity just looking at it.
Right, that's when you know when you're an adult. Is when that stuff doesn't look appealing to you anymore. Where it's like, oh god, I gotta pace out my sweets. Like I don't.
I wanted to like Violent Night more than I did.
I thought it was okay. He's great in
it. He's the best part.
It's got a few really good kills. That Home Alone scene I found very entertaining. I like when that movie gets very mean and brutal.
It's also that was just a weird time, right? Like we had 600 like evil Santa movies coming out.
Yeah, well, have you seen the trailer for Red One yet? It's J.K. Simmons, and it looks so awesome. And then he gets kidnapped, and then The Rock and Chris Evans have to save him. And I'm like, oh, now it looks like a Netflix movie. I just make a J.K. Simmons Santa movie.
Chris Evans, what has happened to you?
At least he got Deadpool movie. Spoiler
alert.
He has not. Although I like Knives Out a lot. He's very good in Knives Out.
You like what? Nighttown?
So, this is the stuff where I get that she's going through her temper tantrum, but I wish he would just tell her, "Hey, this might be upside down related." Like,
this is
something bad going on.
So this is fun because I always forget that he's going to be in Creature Commandos. So he's working for DC and Marvel at the same time.
That's true. Although, I guess prediction time. If they're trying to sell Thunderbolts as like their Suicide Squad movie, which would mean presumably one or two characters might die, I'm not going to be surprised if he's one of the characters who doesn't make it. I could see that being their big emotional death and him saying goodbye.
That's the emotional death that pushes Yelena.
Because she's like the main character. Mm-hmm. So that makes sense.
But yeah,
I'd be fine with that. And he's going to be voicing Frankenstein's monster in the Creature Commandos cartoon. And then we'll be playing him in live action in some project down the road. And I think that's
awesome. That's awesome.
That whole show, the voice cast is casted deliberately for at least the chance of those people getting to play those parts in live action. So like David Harbour as Frankenstein's monster, just perfect. Like that's great.
Were you a library kid?
Mm-hmm. Not really, because this isn't a school library. Like this is its own library.
Yeah. I lived at my public library.
I did not. My school had a library with a pretty extensive amount of stuff you could check out, so I never really had to go to my public library.
So I had the opposite because I went to a private school, at least for middle school and high school. I would go to my library and I would check out like 20 books.
I was also I've never been an avid reader. Not nearly to the degree that I should be. Like I read books usually because I had to for school, but then there were some things that would catch me. I'd be interested in like Harry Potter.
I read Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows in 2 hours.
Oh my god. Like that doesn't even sound possible to me. I am a very slow reader, and that's the main reason why I'm much more of a movie guy, um, or a TV guy. Probably it's a degree of ADHD. I don't know, but when I'm reading a book, my mind will wander, and then I'll have to go back like 2 pages and reread what I just read. So I'm a very slow reader.
Now, I will say, I don't know if I could do that now. I feel like I've had gotten more ADHD as I've gotten older. I do still like to read, but nowadays 90% of my reading is just comics.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's funny. I read when I first joined the Discord that we're both in. Me and our buddy Bag were both reading uh, episode three's novelization. It took me like 2 days. It took him like 2 months.
And there are so many books I haven't finished that I got like halfway through, and now I'm like, well, fuck, it's been like 2 years. I have to start at the beginning now. If I
So a
go
lot of
back to
people speculate that
shit.
this is an that his whole speech here is an Easter egg to Pennywise
Maybe that might be a stretch.
because he was in the It miniseries.
And I do like how much he tries to be a good parent to these kids with both of them. That's one thing I really like about Bob, and it's funny because he just gave Will some really horrible advice that is gonna make life way worse for Will. He says, "Just stare at it, yell at it, you'll be fine. You got to confront your fears." And the lesson is, no, you can't always confront your fears. Sometimes that will make things worse. But he doesn't know. It's not his fault. Kids are just the worst. And like what sucks is how believable this is. That all the kids are like, "Oh, you're weird. You were missing for a month. Screw you, you weirdo." And I like this stuff with Max where she's not like being a jerk. It's just that curiosity. Like she just wants to know. She just wants context. Like how did he go missing? Like what's going on? Like
I've also been
she's a
this
little
kid.
pushier than it can't be overstated just how well cast the show was at the start. Like the
Yes, man.
Dustin, don't bring your alien frog to school. And one thing that this season plays really well is Max's innocence, or ignorance to what's going. Because like she just thinks they're weird kids. She just haven't. It's not until the last few episodes when she's like, "Oh my god, this my life is in danger. What have I done?
I'm in danger.
I'm in danger."
Why is the random girl the only one helping? Oh, that's another dynamic that not a lot enough people talk about is Steve and Max.
Yeah, they get some good scenes.
Well, especially in season 4, he kind of like fills that void of like older brother that she doesn't have anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and in this season, you know, he's
Yeah.
like the older brother she probably deserves.
That's where I think season 3 drops the ball. I wish we had Max with the Steve and Dustin crew.
Yeah.
I wish we could have made that work.
Yeah, I just don't know how you justify that.
Mm-hmm. best advice you could ever give is don't be an idiot. And she needs to be asking herself, would an idiot do this? But these are some of my favorite scenes with Hopper and 11. I think they instantly have a really convincing dynamic.
Yeah. This is kind of weird,
like
right? Like he just moves into this place permanently after this episode.
Mm-hmm.
And like we never see his house again.
Right. I feel like back then it was just more common to just own places you just didn't go much. You can't do that now.
Yeah.
But you don't mess around with Jim. Like I like this cleanup scene a lot. David Harbour's having a lot of fun. I also like this pairing because like 90% of the 11 stuff in season 1 is either with the kids or her horribly abusive father and scientists. So this is just a really different dynamic we get to see with an adult who's just trying to be a good parent.
Yeah.
And then at the end of season 3, we set up this potential mother-daughter dynamic with Joyce and 11 that could be interesting, and then we don't do anything with it in season 4.
Yeah, season 4 really doesn't pay off the ending of 3.
Yeah, because we skip straight to the Russia stuff with Joyce. Like, we hardly spend any time with her and 11 or Will.
I don't know. This song choice makes sense. But at the same time, I also don't. This isn't what I imagine Hopper listening to.
I think he sells it because we get him listening to the song again in season 3 when he's in a car. So I think he just sells that. He just likes the song.
This song sucks.
It's also hard for me to not buy it because Hopper reminds me a lot of my dad in a lot of ways, and my dad loves the song. So
oh, for sure,
he really liked this scene. He really liked the scene when we got to it. As weird as it is to say, like, this is a good family show. In that, and
is that what's so powerful about it?
Yeah, because it's about family. But one thing I talked about during season 1 was a big thing that makes this kind of unique is like everyone has a character to relate to. Like I haven't seen a lot of other shows where you dedicate this equal screen time to kids, teens, and they are all treated like the protagonists. It's not a kids show where there's also adults who are important and vice versa.
Yeah.
Like everyone has a character they can identify with. Like if you're 12, you're with the kids. If you're or if you're teen, you're with the teens, etc. So like, my parents have seen this show. My dad like this isn't entirely my dad's thing. He's not a big horror guy, so I haven't seen a lot of like horror movies with my dad. But this show is in his wheelhouse. He likes it. My mom loves the show. My sister my sister is the first of my family to watch it, and then gets my mom to watch it, and then gets me to watch it, and then I've shown this to my niece, and she loves it. So like in my family, I've got a lot of, and then my niece watched it with my brother, her dad. So like in my family, like everyone's watched the show by now.
This is something we don't do enough with. Like Steve is like a basketball guy.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, I keep forgetting that he's going to high school, and it's like, oh right, he's still in high school. And then Billy just looks really old. And in real life, I know Joe Keery and Decree Montgomery, like I know they're like the same age. In real life, just Billy just looks a lot older.
Steve doesn't start to look older until season 4.
Mm-hmm. And at least he's out of high school by that point. Yeah, this is the scene where they're having Steve act a bit more like a jerk than he needs to be.
He's angry.
Well, and again, believable teenager stuff, but it's like, Steve, you ditched your girlfriend. You can't, in this situation, you can't be mad that Jonathan, arguably your rival, took her home. Because it's like, dude, you did ditch her. So.
But to be fair, I'm going to be, because this is what we argued with last season. This is building from all the shit she pulled last season.
Mm.
I would also be mad if my girlfriend at every possibility ran off with another guy.
But she didn't run off. Like, she was falling down drunk.
I'm not talking about last night, but I mean or the previous night in the episode. I just mean throughout the entire show, she's always running off after Jonathan.
Mm. And in this scene, I wish this was our proper breakup scene, not just them bickering. And then him calling her bullshit. Like, this should have been their big breakup scene.
Yeah.
Instead of just them fighting.
I like how she's just a normal girl, like in situations like that.
Yeah, she's like a fun tomboy character.
Oh, that's where they got the episode title from.
Mm. And like I said, Mike's a little rude to Max, but a lot of kids have been in this situation where another friend is led into a group, and it's like,
I've,
hey, I didn't have
I've
a
now
vote.
gotten old to the point I'm old enough that him touching the thing is making me anxious. This is another case. Will, just tell them.
Yep. But the bell rang.
Saved by the bell.
Over. And I get that Will wouldn't be quick to tell them, but he's
at this point, you should tell them.
Hmm.
No, because this show wants to set up character drama, but it doesn't want to pay it off.
Hmm. I'll meet you halfway, because like I said, when we get to the season's finale, I am happy with where we leave most of the characters. I think the finale is really good. And I think the reason why the Bob stuff works for me is because it's always furthering Joyce's story and Will's and that family. We don't give Bob his own subplot where we just follow him for no reason for a little bit. It's always furthering the main plot, which I think is fine and why it's not intrusive. And I this is an underrated scene and good parenting scene because he knows the he let the kid borrow his camera. The kid smashed it, and he's approaching it in an extremely delicate way to the kid's mother, but still being honest. Like, hey, this little beat up.
I'll
Like,
kill them. You can't threaten to kill children. And this is the first thing I'd seen this guy in since Lord of the Rings that I can think of.
mm-hmm. Yeah, he's in some stuff. Have you ever seen Rudy?
No. Oh, okay. Are you ready for something that's gonna just? Well, it may not blow your mind, but it blew my mind.
Mm-hmm.
What's this guy's name?
Sean Astin.
Sean Astin. Did you know that he is also a director?
Oh, I did not.
He directed a random episode of Angel.
Wow, that's cool.
I was watching the show with my buddy, and it popped up director Sean Astin. I was like, "There's no way." Yeah, that's its worst season, but it's a decent episode.
That's cool. He should direct more stuff.
He just had a movie. Oh wait,
Rudy is the main thing I've seen outside of this in Lord of the Rings. That's his big football movie. I don't remember.
oh he is. I forgot he's in Kingdom Hearts.
Oh yeah, he's done a lot of stuff. I mean,
oh, I'm sorry, I lied. He is Raphael in 2012 Turtles.
Oh, weird. I somehow didn't know that. That's really cool.
He's pretty good.
Who were his parents? I know his mom was
someone.
Yeah, Patty Duke. She was in a lot of stuff. Probably not someone you know, but like she was a notable actress.
But no, older cinema is something I always tell myself I'm going to get into, and then I'm scrolling. It's like I could watch this. I'll go watch this instead.
I forget. Are you a Goonies guy?
Never seen it.
Or do you miss the boat on that one? I've never seen it either. It's on my watch list.
I'm kind of scared to watch it now. I feel like you had to be there.
Right. It does feel like a movie that you have to have that childhood nostalgia. But I'll check it out.
But no, I don't know if you've seen. I don't know if you're a Turtles guy, but 2012 Turtles is really good, and he's pretty solid as Raphael.
That's really cool. I am a Turtles guy. I was just kind of outgrowing it at that point. I was watching other stuff, but everyone says that show's really good. I should give it a shot.
And I got lucky because I come to that show after it's already ended. That show blew my mind. They do some stuff that I'm shocked they got away with.
That's awesome. It's probably the most. It's probably got the best run of any cartoon, just in terms of reputation. Like, because the 03 show is really popular, and then just kind of falls off a cliff in its last. It goes on too long, gets weird. Because that's when they do. I think it's future stuff. I don't remember, but it becomes a different show in its last couple seasons, and then everyone's just like, blah. Yeah, it just kind of falls off.
And that show gets lucky, and it gets the like space stuff out of the way, and then goes back to like the grounded stuff.
That's good, because the 2012 show I think just has like a good solid run. Doesn't go on too long. It's not cut short. It's right in the pocket.
I don't know if I'm in the minority. I could have done without the last season, which is just like an anthology season, just because that's not what that show was.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking maybe I should go talk to the guy that I said all those awful things to.
Yeah, I wish they had just broken up properly at this point. But again, I do like things about this subplot. I do like this political thriller subplot of her wanting to leak this information. And I buy that she would do
that. But there's an arc in that show. I think it's because Leonardo's voice actor changes after a couple seasons because the main guy Yeah, so that show starts with Jason Biggs from American Pie as Leonardo, but then he had that like scandal or whatever that got him
Oh,
fired from Orange Is the New Black and this, and
oh,
Seth Green takes over, and they do that
oh.
whole like his voice box gets damaged. That's why he sounds different. And Donnie is Rob Paulson, who was Raphael in the '87 show.
That's correct. That I didn't know. He's great.
All right, keep catching up
Now,
there, Robert.
I'm watching the show. We're supposed to be watching Stranger Things. This is a lie that Hopper tells that I buy. This is a mistake I buy a parent making, where I understand, especially since he wants to keep her secret and isolated, why he just tells her your parents are gone,
Mhm.
like, or your mom is gone. When in truth she's alive but catatonic, and that's a hard thing to explain to a child, especially in this circumstance of, well, like, yeah, she's alive but she's not there, like that is a tough thing to explain to a child, especially in this circumstance. So I buy that he would just say your mom's gone, don't dwell on it.
Yeah.
Which obviously is gonna be a bit of a problem later. Is the scene too dumb? I
That's
think
how
it's
that
fine.
works.
It's not. I wasn't there. I've also never been good with technology.
This is me explaining anything to anyone.
Making him a Radio Shack employee, uh, that's a good choice.
Well, and I
Because he
said it because
actually
like
needs to
I
contribute.
like technology. I try to keep up with the latest trends. Not to own any of
Mhm,
them, just like I like to know what's going on. I think in the 21st century, it is important to be at least proficient in technology and know what's going on.
mhm.
Why didn't he just tell her just put it in an adapter, VHS adapter, and put it in the player? Although that might also been a Betamax player. That didn't look like a VHS player.
Well, the camera isn't using VHS.
Right. Because but the little tapes they sold adapters. You would put it in the adapter and it's a VHS tape.
Okay, maybe she just doesn't have that.
I had one of them. Don't argue with me, Robert.
I don't know.
But no, I think she might actually have a Beta Max player because I've never seen a VCR that like you push down to go in. What the hell is she doing?
She's tracing over the thing.
Oh,
Oh, now this is where you get into that kind of, we're trying to repeat some stuff from season one. Like, this is the stuff we do with Will in the photos is the Christmas lights gimmick from the first season. It's trying to be creative. It's trying to make this puzzle, and yeah, it's a little repetitive, but it's still fun enough. Like, it's not a problem for me. It's just, yeah, it's kind of like the first season.
I love this teacher. I don't think he's in season 3 or 4 that I
He
remember.
gets he gets one episode of 3. He might pop up a few times in 4. but he
Okay,
gets more.
so I will say I take back my criticism because I think he just told Mike what it was.
Okay.
That's why Mike ran in there and.
Okay. Some of my memory is a little fuzzy.
No, I also completely forgot about that. Were you surprised Billy comes back for season 3?
I don't know if I'd say I'm surprised, just because it would have been weird if he wasn't there. I definitely wasn't expecting the subplot they give him.
Some of that's really creepy.
Yeah, he gets so much flexibility and variety as a performer
No,
that season.
I mean, I could have went the rest of my life without seeing that stuff with Mrs. Wheeler.
Oh, that's filler. That's unnecessary.
Yeah.
And again, why putting him in high school is a weird choice. Like, if he's already a college student when we first meet him, that subplot's a little less creepy. It's still creepy, but a little less creepy.
Well, and
But
Karen
we
feels like a
introduced to him
completely different character in season 3.
She does. It's like, she does, but it's also trying to give her something to do, you know? And then again, it just doesn't pay off at all.
Oh boy. I have never once been able to pick a lock. I've tried.
But then I do like this inner turmoil with the group where Dustin's still really attached to this thing, and Mike's like, no, we gotta kill it.
Oh god.
It's so cute, though.
No.
It's adorable. Look at Leo. His little legs.
Oh.
Just some wacky Scooby-Doo shenanigans. Don't hurt him. He's my friend.
Dustin, sorry, buddy, you're in the wrong here.
He is, and I don't care.
Oh, shut up, Nancy.
Like I said, I still enjoy their scenes fine together. I like when they're working together trying to solve stuff. And I do like this plan. I do like the triple setup that they got going on. It's still really reckless, but I buy it.
Gee, if only somebody had warned her about this.
No, this is the plan. She knows they're listening in on the phones.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm just getting really bad Lana flashbacks. I have zero sympathy for
her. Like I said, I don't like the relationship stuff, but I like their plan because.
But the problem is that the entire plan is built on a faulty premise.
Which is.
She was told this is dangerous. She threw a fit about it and just went and did it anyway.
No, what's motivating her is getting Barb's parents closure. That's what's motivating her. And I buy it.
I mean, I get it, but at some point you have to be an adult and be rational about these things.
She's still a teenager. No, that Nancy's motivation, totally buy it. With the guilt, her feeling culpable and what happened to Barb.
Okay, but like, how much can guilt cover? Like, at some point you're just a bat. Like, at some point you have to own up to your own actions and like be responsible.
Okay. But the only way she knows how to do that is to give Barb's parents closure. The worst, like, the worst thing she could do is let Barb's parents live the rest of their lives having
So
no
she's gonna
idea what
put them in
happened.
danger.
That's awful. She's not putting them in danger. She's putting herself in danger. Again, it's
But when they
reckless.
know, they will be in danger.
But I don't want to just go step by step what the plan is. We'll see it play out.
All
Her
right, all
plan
right.
her plan is getting picked up by them, brought in with a secret tape recorder so she can get some incriminating evidence and then get that elsewhere. Like, she's not putting Barb's parents directly in danger. Again, she knows they're listening to the phone. It's part of the plan.
Okay, so the
We'll get
question then is, why didn't anybody just think up of a cover story?
That's kind of where we go at the end of the season.
So you're telling me that it took them 2 years to come up with a cover story?
Well, it's what our heroes figure out, but like, I don't know. With the Barb thing, it's like, yeah, she's just, there's a lot of missing cases. Like, I don't know. It's unfortunately really common, but because remember the whole
Okay,
thing
so
with
then,
Will.
but then why can't Nancy compromise and say, yes, maybe we can't tell them the truth, but we can tell them, she was found in the woods.
Well, I mean, that's kind of where we go by the end of the season, but we also haven't given Nancy the opportunity to interact with these people.
She's been going over there every week for a year.
So you're saying that Nancy should lie to Barb's parents and say, "Oh, this is what happened."
Isn't that what they're going to do anyway? I don't remember.
Yeah, but there's evidence to back it up, or fake evidence to back it up. But
Well, my
parents
question
would
is,
be
why wouldn't the government do like cover this up in the initial cover up? Like, you wouldn't think they wouldn't want to leave a loose end.
That's a good question, but again, from their perspective, it's like, yeah, it's just a missing person. There's a lot of those. They don't do the whole thing with Will in the body until Hopper and everyone get too close to what's going on. And also, remember, Matthew Modine and all those guys were evil, and like they don't know how much they can trust. Like, we're still supposed to be distrusting of Paul Reiser. Like, we don't know how much we can trust these people. It's not until the end of the season where they've really earned our trust.
I think this is a maybe half an episode subplot at best that they stretch out to 8 to 9 episodes.
I disagree. Again, I like the destination.
We'll see how I feel about it as it comes together, but
is this stuff a little forced? This 11's gonna.
We've dipped back into the CW levels writing.
Of course, that when 11 sees Mike is when he's getting along with another girl who he's only been mean to before this. Though this is important for 11.
I'm also not a fan of morally ambiguous 11.
Oh, I think it's necessary. She kills a lot of people in season 1. She can't just be a good guy. Like, we need to see that darkness.
I am fine with her having a darkness to people that are trying to hurt them. I'm not sure. I don't know. I didn't need her killing that random hunter and.
Well, she didn't kill him. She just knocked him.
Or hurting him, and like.
Yeah.
She could have broken one of Max's ribs.
Well, yeah. Obviously, we as adults know that could have happened, but she's a kid. She's violence has been her solution for too many problems or feelings that, like, yeah, I buy that she would just flip the board.
But it also goes into that I don't understand why these two are obsessed with each other, and it's kind of weird.
That's all in season 1. I get it.
That is an ugly ass car.
Yep.
I've been in this bathroom, I think.
Looks pretty gross. Yeah. It looks a little authentic. Sometimes bathrooms look way too clean in movies.
The bathrooms at the school I went to were always pretty clean because it was just such a small student body. There he is. So, like, for example, in 7th grade, how many people were in your class? Just your class?
Oh, like 30 something. It's just
we had maybe 20.
Okay. I definitely had more than that. So at least we did get Will telling Mike, what.
No, that was a good scene.
Going on. And now he's past the point of no return. Now we're back in the Upside Down, and he's gonna take Bob's advice, and he shouldn't.
I don't understand the phasing though. How is he in both at the same time?
I don't know.
Because every other time they are specific, and this is another dimension. You can't be in both at once.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not just season 4 retconning this. That's also in season 1, where he's not in both. He is very definitely in one.
Yeah, the only explanation would just be because remember that like the Demogorgons have like the ability to jump between worlds at will, and he still has like some of the Upside Down infected in him. Like so that's why he was vomiting up the slugs. I'm not saying it logically makes sense. I'm just saying that that's the explanation. Because remember when they find him in the Upside Down, he's got that tube down his throat. Like that's where the slugs come. Like he still has the Upside Down infected in him. So, like, that's the explanation.
Remember when Noah Schnapp had things to do and like act in these shows?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is probably not the right thing to stand up to.
Nope. This is when you do not take this advice. But this is disturbing stuff, though. And I'm like, oh my god, just leave this poor kid alone. Like, this is messed
That's horrifying.
That's a bad day.
That was a good episode.